Hello, everybody. Vern here to do something that he doesn't normally ever do, and that's be genuine. Uh, so, I really want to make a movie. I've wanted to make a movie my whole life. Ever since I've seen The Godfather, I've wanted to make a movie. Um, but it was a matter of waiting until I had the right one. Um, and last spring, I got the right one. Um, I was driving. I've told this story to a million people, um, but now I'm gonna tell it to the internet, and so I'll tell a billion people. So I was driving home from work one night when all of a sudden my brain told me, "Vern, you're going to have an idea." Normally, you just have an idea, something just pops in your head, but on this night, it was a Friday night, my brain said, "You're going to have an idea." That's never happened before. So I stopped what I was doing. I turned the radio off. The radio is playing With or Without You by U2. Um, and I was just driving, just waiting, listening. And then all of a sudden, I got what was the first shot of a movie. And I was like, okay. And then I got the last shot of that same movie. And I was like, okay. And as I kept driving, everything in between those two shots kept popping in my brain. And they were happening so fast I could barely keep them straight. And I was terrified that I was going to forget things. So I was driving and I was contemplating should I pull over? What should I do here? But I was afraid that trying to find a place to pull over would just distract me too much. So I was just ranting and raving, just yelling out everything that I was thinking. I was just yelling it at the top of my lungs. This happens, and then this happens, and this happens, and this character's name is this, and this character's name is this, and she says this, and then he says this, and I probably looked like a crazy person, but I did that for the entire drive home. It was about a 40-minute drive back then. So I got to my car. Well, I got to my apartment, and I parked and I thought to myself, okay, I need to go in and write this down. But I started thinking about it, and it's 5 minutes to walk from my car to the apartment, and then an extra 5 minutes to turn my laptop on and get to screenwriting software. And I was like, I could lose it in that space of time. I could lose it from here to there. So I got out my cell phone, and I pulled out the Notes app, and I just started feverishly just in my car just typing out everything that I had been thinking and everything I had been shouting at the top of my lungs in my car, just typing everything out. And I finally just emptied out my brain, got everything. About 40 minutes later, I was in my car for 40 minutes just by myself, just so I got done typing that, and I was like, okay, so that's a thing. That's never happened before. And I just let it sit there for a little bit. I just let it sit and I let it simmer. And then a couple days later, my next day off, I got in front of screenwriting software and I started typing it. And I started typing. I started typing what I'd put in my phone, but then new things started popping in my brain. And I started typing all that. And so that day and then the next day, I typed out everything that was in my phone and then everything that had popped in my brain since. And whenever I was done, I looked at it and I had a script. I had, this isn't the full thing, but I had this thing called Pet Turtles. And that was last spring. That was around, I guess around this time last year, maybe a month later. But it was crazy. I'd never had anything like that happen before. Normally, whenever I have to create something or I have an idea, I have to really dwell on it and I have to really work to get it out of my brain. But this, all just came supernatural. It came almost like faster than I could physically like type it all out, put it all out. But it came to me, and whenever I got done with it, I knew that this was the movie I was supposed to make. This was the one that I've been waiting for however long, since the age of 13, to do. So since that time, I've been putting together this. Right now, this is the movie. It's the script. It's a treatment. It's this is my production book. This is everything. This is the script. This is the actors. This is the crew. This is everything. This is my movie. For right now, this is my brain. And this is really all I think about. Whenever I'm not, like 90% of the time I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking of some aspect of it, like, what if we do this? What if we do this? Wouldn't it be cool if we could get this shot? Wouldn't it be cool if we could get this person? And whenever I'm not thinking about this, I'm thinking of what's separating me from doing this. I'm getting ahead of myself. So this is the movie that I like. This came out of my brain, and this right here is a movie called Pet Turtles. It's a movie about a young man whose mother passes away, and when she does, he inherits 2 pet turtles that he has to take care of, on top of putting together all of her funeral plans, putting together all of her funeral. It's, if you know me, very obviously inspired by real life events. It's I don't need to pick it up. Pet Turtles is a very personal movie to me. It's very like personal, but also hopefully really funny. It's just about everything that I think about life and death and like love and relationships with the people that we love and the people that we don't love. It's everything I think about, all that things, and it's also everything I love about cinema and everything I love about movies in general. As I said, there's comedy in it, what I hope is comedy. There's romance, there's action. I mean, it's just a grab bag of everything that I love up here and in here, all in one thing. It's not entirely true, but it helps like people put this together. If you ever saw my short film Hula, it's like that but with dialogue. This isn't entirely true, it's not entirely accurate, but it helps people kind of like mentally place the tone and the atmosphere I'm kind of looking for with this movie. But I've been telling people that it's like Napoleon Dynamite, but if it was about death. If Napoleon Dynamite was about death. That's not entirely true, but it helps like establish the tone and the feelings and everything that I'm going for with the movie. After I wrote the script, I started finding everybody that I wanted to work with it. I knew immediately that I wanted to work with Forrest again. Forrest is who shot Doom to You, the web series I did with Kevin. I knew I met Larry shortly after writing the script, and I knew within 5 minutes of like talking to him face to face that he was Lyle, who I thought was going to be Lyle's the main character. I thought Lyle was going to be the hardest person in the entire movie to cast. I met Larry, and Lyle ended up being the first person cast in the movie. I had a dream one night that I was on set of this movie, of Pet Turtles, And Larissa White came up to me and she said, "Thank you so much for asking me to be in this movie." And I responded like, "Thank you for agreeing to be in it. It means so much to me. You don't know." And I woke up that next morning and I was like, I have to get Larissa White to be in this movie now. Larissa White, she's a really super talented actress. She does a lot of theater here in St. Louis. I first saw her in my school's film too, in a short film called Ruby Van Dweller by my friend Lauren Hayes, who was Amy in Doom to You. And then Larissa and I worked together on a 48-hour film called Writer's Clock, which ended up being in like the best of screenings for that year. Out of all the 48-hour films that were made that year, they picked 12 of the best, and the one that we made with Larissa was in the best ofs. Kat Scott is in that film in Writer's Clock, and she that was the first time I met her. She's in Doom 2 as well, but I knew like that from working with her, she's in Pet Turtles as well. And then that's like in front of the camera. Behind the camera, as I said, we've got Forrest, who shot Doom to You. Forrest is amazing. You can like tell him what you're going for, like emotionally, and he can help craft the image just like perfectly. I've made storyboards, and this is good TV or whatever for me, just to be for you guys, just me fumbling through a binder. But I made the storyboards. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, there's storyboards. I made those, and those have been helpful for Forrest and I. But recently, Forrest and I started doing this thing where we've been putting together a color-coded map of how we're shooting the script. Pink shots, everything that's in pink is a shot that means something, and everything that's in orange is a shot that means something. They're two similar but different shooting styles, so it's a roadmap for how we're going to shoot the movie. Forrest and I will be able to look at the script and say, and just know what the shot is and know what we're going for just by looking at a color. We've done that for the script, but Forrest is just amazing on this. Him and I have been location scouting for this already. Also working on this is Alex Holzman. Alex Holzman is producing. He was the AD in Hula, and he's also the guy at the yard sale that Gabe's character goes to. That he's the guy that ends up getting into the taxi cab and leaving the kid with a ukulele behind. Alex is he's based out of Chicago. He works on like Chicago MD and Empire. Brilliant mind as far as like filmmaking goes. He's producing the movie. Also working on this is Kaylee McGinnis. Originally, Kaylee McGinnis, on the book I keep, she did this, like Pet Turtles and this little turtle thing. I originally approached her to do art. You're going to see a turtle somewhere. She did that. I originally approached her for that. But Kaylee was so passionate about the movie, and I felt like just right talking to her that she ended up being production design on the movie. Pet Turtles, when we shot a trailer for it, and that was the first time Kaylee's ever been on set for anything, and she took to it like a duck to water. She was showing all of us up. And she knows, she can tell by reading the script and by like just reading the words and everything exactly how the film looks and breathes, and she can tell just by looking at it the kind of world all these characters live in, how they dress, what they like as far as like art goes. she was like the best person to talk to about this. She's been amazing. On top with Forrest and Alex and Kaylee, we've got Tara Garrett has been doing behind the scenes photography. She's been great. She's super psyched about this movie. Sarah Lovell, she did makeup for Doom to You. The reason I look old as Doc Brown in episode 4 of Doom to You is because of her. She's also really great. I've worked with her on a few films. And she's just wonderful to be around. Katie Keppel is AD on this movie, and Katie is... I keep talking about everyone being amazing, but she is too. Everyone I've talked to has just been... everyone I've talked to has been really game for this. Anyone who's not been like... anyone who I've talked to about this movie and they've been like, yeah, maybe, I've not talked to anymore. Everyone that's working on this movie is very, very, very passionate about it. Cast and crew. They're a better cast and crew than I deserve. And I'm really thankful that they would give me the time of day. So we have our cast, we have our crew, we have our locations, and we have all the passion in the world. Everyone wants to get together and everyone wants to make this movie. Everyone wanted to make this movie, started making this movie like yesterday. We have everything ready to go. We just don't have the money. This movie is, I very much subscribe to the philosophy of write what you know. And so it's a very small film. It's very personal. It's very intimate. I didn't write Captain America Civil War because I don't know that. There's no like extensive battle sequences. There's not huge CG space scenes or anything like this. It's all just lived in, breathed in environments with practical effects. There's 2 special effects in the movie, and they're practical. It's an Airzuka with glitter. The script from the very beginning was designed as being a low budget movie, but low budget is still... you have to have a budget in order to still have a low budget film. And we have everything just ready to go, but we just don't have the money. And so that's why I'm making this. We did a Kickstarter. We didn't reach our goal, which I'm not going to lie was a huge bummer because the way Kickstarter works is all or nothing. So it really knocked me down to see how excited people were for this and how like pumped for it they were. And I had so many people saying like, yes, of course, like I want to donate to this, or people saying like, I can't donate, but I want this movie to happen. And just the outpouring of support was outstanding. I've never seen anyone that excited for anything I've been involved with. I do Puffin Publishing. It's a comedy podcast, and we've done a couple live shows. And at the second one, when we were doing our plugs, I mentioned like wanting to shoot pet turtles, and the whole crowd just like went crazy. It was a huge reaction, and it really knocked me down. So there's not only passion for this movie from myself and the people that are working on it, but like other people want to see this movie. And there's nothing I want more than to show all these people this movie and you. It's just what I want to do. It's all I can think about. It's all I want is to make this movie. It drives me crazy a little bit, but in the best possible way. So yeah, it's the Kickstarter. What I was talking about earlier is so many people were game for it. So many people were excited for it, and that was it meant so much to me that people wanted it to happen. I mean, and I was going to make this movie regardless. If I have to make this movie with this camera I'm shooting this with and myself, I'll do it. I really don't want to. I want to give you guys the best version of this movie possible, because it means so much to me, and I don't. And everyone that's like support this movie and everyone that's working on this movie like means so much to me, and I don't want to give anyone like less than what they deserve. I want to show you guys the best possible movie version of this movie that I possibly can. And I'm all scatterbrained right now. I'm sorry. But like, people want this movie to happen, and I want this movie to happen. And the support and everything from everyone while the Kickstarter was going was phenomenal. It was really great. But we didn't make the goal that we had set. And so we didn't get anything. And that hurt. It really hurt, like, knowing... No, it hurt because I knew I was going to have to wait longer to make this movie. And I mean, in the end, it's better because it's going to become a better movie now because of it. We've had time to, like, ruminate it and live with it longer. And it's going to be a better movie now, which is great. But as I said, like, you still need a budget for low budget. So that's why we're doing the Indiegogo. We're asking for right around what we reached, or like what we raised with our Kickstarter, what we would have gotten. Because the Kickstarter didn't meet its goal, no one got charged. So if you donated to the Kickstarter, like, if you saw your bank accounts whenever the Kickstarter was over, like, you still have your money. If you were to consider donating, like, again to Pet Turtles, to this Indiegogo, that would really, 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 really mean a lot to me and a lot to a lot of other people. If you can't, I totally get it. Your financial situation or whatever could be a lot different than it was a couple months ago. But if you could consider it, that'd be amazing. We're doing... the reason we did Kickstarter and we're doing this with Indiegogo now is because you get something in exchange for donating. It's called a donation, but it's not a donation. For whenever you give money to Pet Turtles, you get things in exchange. We have physical copies of the movie that we're going to give away, both on DVD and Blu-ray. Digital copies, props from the movie, props from Doom to You. I'm pointing up because I got the banner from Doom to You up there. Props from Hula if you want them. Like, you can name the turtles in the movie. We are still going to honor the Kickstarter. If you donated to the Kickstarter, even though the Kickstarter didn't make anything, we're still going to honor your donations, and we're just going to still give you, like, what you asked for, or what you wanted in exchange for your donation. We're still going to do that because I don't know, I can't not do that. But even with that, like, I would still really appreciate if you could donating to the Indiegogo. This Indiegogo is set up different in that, like, no matter what, whether we get our goal or not, we'll still get something. And let's talk about where that money's going to. As I said, this movie isn't Civil War. There's no, like, monsters or anything like that. All the money that we are raising for this movie goes towards renting equipment, and this movie doesn't call for a lot of equipment at all. We're doing it with all, like, natural lights and everything, just using the lights that we have around us. So this is like the camera, and a few like Apple boxes and things like that. Apple boxes for non-film people are just wooden boxes. So yeah, the money's going towards equipment. The money's going towards food for all the cast and the crew, and the money's going towards paying the cast and the crew. The reason for that is we're looking at 14 days of shooting. In a perfect world, if all the scheduling goes correctly and everything, we can do this in like 11 days. We're putting 14 on the schedule just in case something happens and we need to go back for reshoots or whatever. But we can shoot this in 14 days. That's 2 weeks. And 2 weeks, even though it says 2 weeks, that's a lot to ask. Like, everyone working on this has real people jobs. And other aspirations. They've got rent, they've got groceries they've got to buy, they've got gas they've got to buy. And 14 days away from the real life, working on a movie is a lot to ask of a person. And I can... Everyone that's working on this, all the cast and all the crew, they can sleep at night if this movie doesn't get made. I can't. I'm willing to do it for free, but I can't ask them to do it. They're donating so much of their time and their passion and their energy and talents. Everyone working on this movie, the cast and the crew, are so great and so wonderful. They could be spending time on someone much more deserving than me. But they're helping me make this. But they can all sleep at night if this movie gets made. I can't. And because of that, and because they're donating their talents and their energy and their passion and everything else, like, I want to pay them. I can't pay them a lot. I mean, it's contingent on what we get from donations and everything, but I want to be able to pay them because 2 weeks away from real life can be hard on your bank account, and I want to make sure that, like, for helping me, they won't have to skip a meal, or they won't have to, like, not drive somewhere because they can't afford gas. I want to make sure they're fine. That's where majority of this money is going to, is towards paying them, and then after that is equipment, and then a food. I want to make sure they're eating good. I've been on sets where there are no food, or their only food is cheese sandwiches, and everyone's grumpy and miserable, and I don't want to do that. I'm not saying I'm going to get like 5-course meals for everybody. If I could, that'd be great, but I know I won't be able to. I just want to make sure that we're not all eating cheese sandwiches, or I'll eat cheese sandwiches for the rest of my life if it means getting this movie made. But I just want to make sure, like, they're not eating garbage, because, like, when you're hungry, you're upset and you're irritable and it's not a good time, and I want this movie to be a good time. I believe movies are magic, and you shouldn't be having a bad time when you're making magic. I want this to be a good time for everybody. As I said, like, I'm happy if the movie gets made. Then I'm happy, but I want to make sure that, because they're dedicating so much time, that they're happy, and it's not like, I don't want them to look back on this experience of making this movie as like, ugh. I want it to be a good time for everybody involved. So that's why we're asking money. Paying cast and crew, equipment, food. That's the big three. That's where your money's going, and as I said, in exchange for donating that money, you're getting props, you're getting physical copies of the movie, you're getting your name in the credits. You can name a turtle. I'll write a song for you. I'll shave my beard for you. Like, whatever it is, like, hit me up. Like, I just want to get this movie made. I have a hard time committing to things, and I have a hard time believing in myself, and I have a hard time believing in other people or other things. And I have a hard time, like, thinking I'm worth anything or anything I do is worth anything. I don't know. I've got I got I got a bunch of shit, essentially. I'm sorry for cursing. I just got a bunch of stuff, and pet turtles is the exception to all that. In a like, I don't believe in a lot, but I believe in this movie. I don't think about a lot, but I think about this movie. I don't want a lot out of life, but I want this movie. Just want to do this. I just want to get this movie made. That's the big thing. And I can't do it by myself. In order to make the best version of this movie, I can't do it by myself. And in order to show you and everyone else who works on this, like, the best version of this movie, I need help doing it. So that's why I'm making this. That's why I'm doing an Indiegogo after I did a Kickstarter. That's why I'm like begging anyone I know who has just like $1 more than I do, like, if they'll consider, like, donating. I just want to get this movie made. I don't know. There's a lot of me in this movie, and there's a lot of my life in it, and there's a lot in this movie. I've invested a lot in it already. And it's something I believe in, and it's something I'm passionate about, and it's just, like, myself, and it's all I've been able to think about for pet turtles. Just this right here. This is all I've been able to think about for a year. Like, I lose sleep over this. Don't eat over this. Like, this is my life. My life is a binder. My life is a binder right now. And I really want to turn this binder into a movie. I want to be holding a DVD case right now. And I want my life to stop being a binder. I want my life to start being a movie. You could look through this binder, and this is a movie, but this would bore you to tears. And the movie of this, if this gets turned into a movie, it won't bore you to tears. God, I hope not. But I wouldn't try to make this movie if I thought it was boring. I wouldn't try to make this movie if I didn't think it was any good. I wouldn't invest so much time and energy and everything into it. I wouldn't make sad videos at 1:13 in the morning on a Thursday night. Technically Friday morning now. I wouldn't do all this stuff if I didn't believe in this movie. I wouldn't have pestered and begged and pleaded all these wonderful, wonderful people that are working on this movie to be a part of it if I didn't believe in it, believe in this movie, and if I didn't believe in them. So that's why I'm doing this. I just want you to donate if you can. If you can't, I totally get it. My rent's due Monday, and I got $20. But if you can't donate, I get it. But if you could share the Indiegogo, that would mean a lot to me. There's going to be a website up for Pet Turtles. If you could share that will have all the Indiegogo information and other information about the movie. If you could share that would be great too. If you could share the trailer, that would mean a lot. Just if you could just get the word out about this movie, it'd mean a lot to me. It'd mean a lot to a lot of other people. I want this movie to get made. I believe in it, and I hope you'll believe in it, and I hope you'll believe in me. So, thank you for watching. I don't know how much of this I'm gonna The full video of this, I'm sure, is really long. I've been talking for a long time. I don't know how much of this I'm going to cut out. But thank you for watching this. For you just to take the time to read the title of this video means a lot to me, let alone like watching it or reading the Indiegogo or anything. Like, just doing that means a lot to me. But thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And thank you for supporting pet turtles.